Our first speaker this evening, we have a surprise visit from Sergeant Giro.
Right.
I did it right.
Yeah.
Captain Layshot couldn't make it. So he's going to talk for a few minutes. And then we're going to have Judge Omer is going to be speaking, a prosecutor who is working with our neighborhood of Tower Grove South, Mariah Fulper.
Yes. No worries.
I always get it right on the other time. I'm actually blushing. I'm so sorry. And Steve Seagraves from the post office is here. He's going to be speaking. And we're going to get an update on the mobile patrol. And Amy Moore. Is Amy Moore here? Oh, there she is, yeah. So she'll be speaking also. And I'd like to ask if you turn your cell phones off for the meeting. Appreciate it so our speakers aren't interrupted. Is there anyone here new for the first time? We're going to go from right to left. Introduce yourself and talk about, if you could just talk about what block you live on. Anybody here new for the first time? Hi.
Hi, my name is Steve Tedoni. I just moved in here a few weeks ago over on Hartford, just block 41 block of Hartford.
Great. How'd you find out about the meeting?
From the website, online.
Great. Anybody else? Nobody else? All right.
Hi, I'm Sergeant John Ichiro. I've been in the 3rd District for about 5 years now. Some of you guys may know me, you may have seen me on scenes or whatever. You see my car driving around. I try and get around the blocks as much as I can when I'm out with my guys. I came to this meeting, well, because the captain told me to come to the meeting. I didn't know what to do. But he told me to bring down the stats, and I don't read these numbers off. I'll leave them here for you if you want to read them off. Suffice it to say that your total crime is down 22%. Violent crimes, our person crimes are down over 50%. I think that that goes a lot to say for the neighborhood, what you guys do, and what my guys do as well. I always like to tell people that this is a 3-pronged attack. We do something, you guys got to do something, and then the prosecutors got to do something. And if any one of those 3 prongs fails, then we pretty well don't have anything going on. I like to remind people too that when you call for service, sometimes we're going to get there in a minute, sometimes we're going to get there in 15 minutes. It's just the logistics of what goes on in the 3rd District. This is a big district. We have 22 cars, which sounds like a lot, but it doesn't take a whole lot of time to take those 22 cars out of service. So, I apologize if, something happens and you want us to be there in a minute, we're not. My guys aren't slouching. I'm on them all the time. I'm watching the calls. I see what's going on in the district, and I try and get my guys to the stuff as quickly as I can. But I can't leave one victim go or one call go and say, well, I got to go do this. I got to take them in the order they come and the priority they come. So I appreciate your efforts in waiting for us, and hopefully we don't keep you waiting too long. But also, when you call, if you see something, I'd like you to remember that if you see something and you want to remain anonymous, that's fine. But if you see a guy peeing in the street, or you see a guy drinking a beer or something, and you want to remain anonymous, that's fine. But if my guys come down and they don't have somebody to talk to who wants to be a witness, and they don't see the guy doing that crime at that time, really nothing we can do. And I get calls all the time, hey, your guy stopped him and you walked right on by. Well, and that's fine. Like I said, I don't care. I understand that some people don't want to give their names or don't want to get involved, but you have to understand where our part comes in there too. There's only so much that we can do. That's why I say it's a 3-pronged attack. We do something, you guys do something, the prosecutor does something. Okay. We got these new pens in the station. I'm going to give them to you.
Okay. They're going to be
And you are going to make sure that they get back to the station, because if they don't, I'm not going to hear about it. But what the deal is with these, you can mark on any of your property. It'll be invisible, and we just got a set of like ultraviolet lights for them. What we're suggesting is that you mark on your property, your TVs, stereos, whatever, your expensive property, put it on the back, put something on there, your initials, whatever you want to do. And then if something gets stolen, we go by, we find it, we shine a little light on it where you say that the mark should be, and it'll show up. Okay, to me, it's a great idea. I don't know how long these things are going to last, or what's going to happen to it after that. But to me, the better idea has always been take your stuff that means something to you, stereos, all this stuff's got serial numbers to it, and write it down and put it somewhere. Because all my guys, when you say your TV's been stolen or your iPod's been stolen or something, these things all got serial numbers. When you give them the serial number, we can enter it into a database. And if we come across that, all we got to do is enter that number into the database. It's, oh, boom, hey, this is a stolen item. Okay? Even if we don't get it that day, I don't care if you lock it away in your, your safety deposit box. You call us 3 days later and say, hey, I got the numbers for all that property. Hey, that's great. It makes our job a lot easier, and it makes it easier for us to get your stuff back to you. Okay? So anybody who wants these will be available for you. You can pass them around to whoever. Like I said, mark your stuff on the back. And if you do mark your stuff, if you're unfortunately the victim of a burglary or something like that, call us up and say, hey, I marked the property that's gone with one of your pens. So that
Or
we can,
scrappers, if you want to mark it on your copper.
yeah, or mark it on your copper. That would be great too. There's nothing better I like
This
than
is a
taking
First
copper away
District
from people.
Dutchtown initiative, and basically, it's for when those TVs are being carried down the street.
Right.
And then the police officer has no way of knowing whether
Right,
it's stolen.
exactly. You
Yeah.
know, if we run these serial numbers or we don't see anything and somebody's carrying a 50-inch flat screen down, it's, you know what I'm saying? There's not a whole lot you can do. You just can't go, hey, give me the flat screen. And when
So they're
somebody
hoping
calls
to
me, I'll give
wave
it back to
the
you.
wand on it and go, hey, this belongs to somebody.
Another
this
thing,
person."
There's a
too-
website.
Oh yeah, there's a website on there.
If you want to buy one of these
Yeah.
or find out.
Right now they're free.
the
What
name
kind of
the
free?
website.
They're kind of free.
Yeah, make sure you give back.
It's
Like I said, I don't wanna
Risk
hear it.
Reactor. Did you write a number on here just in case I don't give it back?
No, I'll let you deal with Captain Leyshock. That'll be your bill. A couple other things really quick. You know, when you buy expensive items, these big TVs, they come in the nice big cardboard boxes and stuff. Don't leave the cardboard box out behind your house. It's a big clue to the guy where he wants to go get his next 50-inch plasma TV from. Cut it up, bring it out in pieces out to the recycling bin. Okay? At night, when you're watching your big 50-inch screen TV, turn your blinds up so people can't look into your house, because as these kids walk down the street, they're looking in and they're watching the baseball game on your 50-inch TV, and then tomorrow they'll be watching it at their house on the 50-inch TV. Because that's what they're doing. They're walking down the street and they're going, hey, there's a TV, the perfect view. And I hate to make it sound like you got to shut yourself in or something. I don't mean that, but give these people less opportunity to victimize you, and you won't be a victim. Okay? Anything else? All right, guys, have a good night. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I say one thing? May I please stand up? My name is Arthur Matthew Frenzel. I would like to say, everybody, support the Fraternal Order of Police, Backstoppers. Have a great night.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
How much did you pay that guy?
Nothing right now.
Okay.
Good night.
Oh, Judge Omer?
It was a commercial.
That was the strangest thing. Judge Omer also lives in the neighborhood.
Hello, folks. It's good to be here. I've been to your meetings a few times through the years, but I live on Hartford. My wife and I moved in there 30 plus years ago, 1980, and I see Rich Mincy, a good neighbor. Been in this area. My wife has been a block captain for a period of time. Been very active and seen a lot of things. But I am a circuit judge. I am actually the presiding judge at this time, which means I'm the boss of all the judges. But that sounds like it's very good, but I can tell you, trying to be the boss of 30 other judges, they are all a little bit independent, and it's kind of like herding cats. But I try. But anyway, I can't emphasize enough the importance of neighborhood groups like yourselves through the years. And as Sergeant was saying, it is a cooperative effort. We as a court, I hear criminal cases all the time. We have a lot of them. Right now we have about 2,000 pending felonies, and that's remained fairly static. For a while there we got up 4,500, but now we're about at 2, and I think that's where we're at. But it's a lot, and we need to get information. I can tell you, one of the hardest things for a judge is sentencing, because what's the right thing to do? You want to protect citizens, obviously. You want to try to reach an individual who's gone the wrong way and help that individual if you can, or lock them up, throw them away, kind of thing. So that's what you're looking at, and a lot of times you're looking at young kids, and it's a very, very difficult decision, and you need information. That's what a court needs. The more information I get, the better. I never lack for information. I hear many cases and I'm very frustrated because I don't get the information. And so then I've got to make a decision based upon what I have. And there's nothing worse for a judge than making a decision and then after the fact being told that, well, Judge, why didn't you do so-and-so because of this? Or what about that? And I'm like, well, this is the first time I'm hearing about this or about that. That would have been nice to know that I could factor in. So that is where you guys and neighborhoods come in, because I've been going out, I've been a judge since 1994. I was a prosecutor before that. I was a chief warrant officer, worked in the circuit attorney's office for some 11 years. And so I've been close to law enforcement. And I have stressed the importance of neighborhoods going back 10 years or longer as a judge going out, and I even did it as a prosecutor, that the involvement of the community. I know a lot of us, we just kind of want to keep to ourselves, and if you don't bother us, then we won't bother you. But to protect our neighborhoods and ourselves, we've got to help each other and be willing to step forward. The police, they do a great job. They have a very hard job. But they can't just pull rabbits out of their hat. They've got to build cases. And they build cases through witnesses and through cooperation of folks. And it happens, it works. The circuit attorney's office does a great job. But again, they can only prosecute if they've got evidence to present to the court. And evidence is witnesses and other evidence, but witnesses are crucial to that. And that's community organizations and involvement and looking after each other, which I know you guys, this neighborhood has always been active and been very involved. But I just can't emphasize that enough. And with all that being presented to a court, then it's up to the judge to do our job and figure out what is best. And many times I'll tell you that as a judge, the easiest thing I can do is send somebody to prison. And you know why that is? Because I'm done with it. And who can criticize me for sending somebody to prison? I mean, who can? Then it's up to the parole board, which I have no control over once they're in prison. But I'll just, the reality is there's only so much space in the prisons. And some people need to go. I mean, there's no doubt, and they need to go for a long, long time. But the difficult cases, involve younger kids usually. In drug cases, cases that are, of lesser seriousness, if you will, and you send them to jail for what, a couple years, 3 years, something like that, kind of sentence. And the way the jails are, the way the prison is, they're not going to be there that long in reality. And so you're looking at what is best, what is best. And a lot of times, as I've indicated, I can have more control over someone in that position by using probation with a big hammer over their head. And I can do neighborhood orders of protection to keep people out of areas, and I've done that. I've been very active with that, and I think it's a great use of resources. And that information is communicated to the police and the prosecutor and to neighborhood groups, and that's why I encourage you to keep in touch with the leaders, because that is a two-way street. The circuit attorney's office and you guys and the police, working all together, and then that information comes to the court. But those kind of things, if an individual's to stay out of a neighborhood and then all of a sudden he or she is wandering in the neighborhood, that's a violation. And I am very unhappy when that happens. And I suspend them and lock them up, and then we'll go from there, have a hearing, and most of the time I don't tolerate that whatsoever. But that's just the kind of work we need to do together. And I would emphasize the importance of jury duty. I know nobody likes you know, well, when you get the summons, nobody gets all excited, like, oh, like you got a birthday card or something. I know it's not, you know, the pit of your stomach goes, oh, no, not that. But I can tell, you know, you folks, that's what the criminal justice, about our justice system is all about, yours. You are the system. That's the beauty of the American system. I have foreign students that work with me every year from China, from Kazakhstan, from Romania, throughout, and they are all dumbfounded of how we trust jurors, ordinary folks. They just cannot fathom what's going on. But that's the beauty of 12 folks coming together from all walks of life and looking at what the evidence is and what the law is and deciding to set the community standards. And it's important because if people aren't willing to serve and aren't willing to take a stake, what happens? We leave those decisions to others. And we got nobody to blame but ourselves. It's just like when people say, well, I don't vote. My vote doesn't mean anything. You know, it's easy to sit there and look at that. You know, there's millions of votes and you're only one. But one does mean something. Because if you participate, and we all participate, that's the beauty and the magic of it. So, and jurors are the exact same way. And it just, when people have called me to try to get off jury duty, I say, no, you do your duty. You know, we've done a lot to make it easier for you, and most of our cases are relatively short. And certainly there can be hardships, and we can talk about that in a context. But just the general idea, please, I just encourage you to serve. It's you know, every juror that I've talked to after they serve, you know, they have appreciated the service. It's not easy. I mean, those are hard decisions. As a judge, I'm very happy to have the jury there because then I don't have to decide. I just have to keep the order, keep the law straight, and give it to you guys. You guys really make those hard decisions. But it's the best system in the world because it keeps all of us honest. Prosecutors, police, judges, anybody, because, you know, it's aired out in the open. That's what the courts are all about. So anyway, I just, it's really a great pleasure to be here. And I've got some matters involving the neighborhood. I'm very, you know, I've been here, like I said, 31 years, and I love this neighborhood, and it's a great neighborhood. And we can always do better, and we'll keep trying. And just, my door's always open. I welcome any input from anybody at any time about anything. For one, I'm the presiding judge, so I should hear that now. But even before that, because, you know, this is just so important to me. And, you know, if you get that information and can articulate, I've always felt as a judge, if I understand what's been presented and I can make a reasoned, rational decision and I can articulate to whomever why I did what I did. People may disagree with me, and, you know, you got to make a call. That's kind of what it's all about. You got to be willing to make a decision. And, you know, in hindsight, everything looks rosy, and you know, you can make mistakes. You know, you cringe every time you open up the paper. I do. You know, something happens. You know, is that my guy? Is that some guy I stuck my neck out on? You know, and gave him probation. You know, is that, you know, what happened there? That kind of thing. So, you know, but if I've got the information and based upon, you know, what I know, I try to do the best I can. But I appreciate and commend all of you for your work. And I'll take some questions. I don't know. I'm on a tight timeline here, so I don't want to delay. But
yeah,
Rich,
along what you just said, it seems like every heinous crime, the guy is on probation. Okay. And it's got to drive you guys nuts because it drives us crazy. You think we had it, the police got him, and he's done all this stuff, and now he's on probation. And it seems like we're waiting for him to wreck somebody else's life. And they do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, but you can. I'll take that even further. you'll see guys not only not on probation, but their long record, right?
Yeah.
Same thing. It's really no different. So what happened there? Well, they weren't on probation, or maybe they were earlier, but they completed their sentences, and so then they're out. I mean, I understand what you're saying. You know, if I put some guy on probation, I don't want him to be doing anything. I keep a tight rein, but
Well, at least they were in on the other guy. You know, you said that he did his time. At least they were in
yeah.
and gone. So I'm
Well,
all
but then
about
they
it.
go and hurt somebody. I mean,
Well,
it's kind.
Well, not when they're in.
Not for that period of time, which could have been months. I mean, I'm just the reality. I tell you, the easiest thing, I can just go ahead and sentence them. That's fine, and be
Good.
done.
Do it.
And be done. But you know, I don't think that's the answer. I can put just because of numbers. You know, the Department of Corrections gets on our case as judges, but you know, we do what we need to do because we send too many people to the penitentiary in the state. They're always on us, and we do. We send more people to the penitentiary than anybody else. But yet we're soft. You know, we give too much probation. I mean, you know, you can't do both. I mean, you just can't. You got to be looking at the whole picture. And yeah, it looks terrible, it sounds terrible, and it is terrible. I mean, when somebody, you know, is out for whatever reason, they could be out on bond, they could be out because of probation, they could be out because they completed their sentence and do something else. If we knew that, would anybody put them out? No. But you don't. And you're using your best judgment. And we can all pick one bad case. And frankly, that's what happens with the news. You pick out one thing that, oh, is just terrible. And then try to say that is the standard of what's happening. And that's not it at all. That is not it. There's people that make probation and complete it and move on with their lives and become productive citizens. If you send them to the penitentiary, they don't have a chance. But there are some that have gone to the penitentiary and straighten out. What's the magic wand to get at that individual? It's a very hard answer, and there's no magic formula. If there was, we could close the courthouses and we would be done with all this. But it's a very difficult decision, and I don't minimize it. And like I said, if some guy, you know, I gave a guy probation because I didn't think that the state wanted enough time. I thought he deserved more time. So I thought, well, I'll give him probation and put these strict guidelines and try to turn the kid around. Well, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And if it doesn't, I've got a huge hammer, and I will hammer, and I do. And they get a heck of a lot more time than they would have up front. And I think that's kind of the trade-off, that you try to reach somebody. And like I said, the easy answer, I could just send them all to prison for whatever it is, 1 year, 6 months, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. We never hear about how long do they stay in, how long do they actually serve, because they let them out as soon as you put them in. And I can tell you that non-violent offenders, they get out really quick. I mean, I hate to say it, nobody gives you the numbers, but I think it would shock everybody. And so if you do that, and I got a guy 2 years, and if he's only going to serve a matter of months, which is really what it comes down to, then, okay, what do I do? Do I just, okay, and then he's done? He's probably served the matter of the months while he's awaiting trial. So then he gets on the bus, they take him down to Jeff City, and he gets processed, and he's out. And he gets back sooner than you turn around. And then there he is, back in the neighborhood, back in the same problem, and now probably worse, because he's got a little more street sense, so to speak. So I think when you look at that, you just have to factor all this in and decide. Now, again, I mean, you know, we're the hardest sentencers when you have serious crimes. I mean, and they go. But I mean violent crimes where you're hurting people. But all crimes are bad. So I just, you know, I hear you, and you know, I'm very sensitive to that. But I think I shirk my responsibility if I just flat out say, okay, guy's got a gun, and okay, you get, here's your 4-year sentence, which is what it is under the law. And I just, you know, nobody will say how long they're going to be there, but I can tell you they're not going to be there long at all. And so then we're back in the neighborhood. I can put a guy on probation for 5 years, and I can put very strict guidelines. I can try to have them finish school. I can have them do treatment if that's what they need. I can have them do anger management. I can keep them out of neighborhoods. I can make them do community service. I mean, I can just, and I'm open to anything. And I ask the prosecutors, I ask, you know, what can I do to get to this kid, to make it happen? And, you know, I've never kept numbers on how my probationers do, but, you know, or how many don't make it, and I revoke them, and, you know, but I think more make it than don't. And, you know, a lot of times it's not an easy path, but obviously if somebody commits another crime and, you know, they're doing something, I mean, that's it, it's over. But it doesn't even take that. I mean, they don't report. I mean, it's just, it's a challenge. But I understand what you're saying, but I'm not afraid to send people away, and I will and do. But there's a multi-faceted issues that you're trying to look at to protect the community, but also, you know, to try to reach this person so that it won't happen again after they do their sentence. You try to control that so that they can become a productive person, and not just, okay, they do their sentence and they come back and then they're going to just do it again. They're just going to do it again. And there's a risk with probation. There is. But I think it's a risk worth taking, depending on the circumstances. And, you know, if I made mistakes, absolutely, many mistakes. But with the information that I had and the circumstances, I thought it was worth a chance. But, you know, hindsight, yeah, we're all a bunch of idiots, and that's the way it is. You know, jurors let people go. They find people not guilty. You know, the conviction rate in the city is not very good. I don't know what it is, Brian. What's your conviction rate? Roughly, just.
Right now, I think it's around 73%.
70? Yeah, it was down about 60% at one point.
Right.
And you know, and what is that? That's citizens, you know, just walking people out the courtroom, walking them out. Now, you know, if they plead guilty to me, I take that as a positive sign. They're at least admitting that they did wrong. And let's go from there. That's in a different posture than if someone won't admit that they did anything wrong, and, you know, then why should I show them any mercy? But if somebody did, well, then you're a different context. So if jurors walk them out, then there you go. And if we had to try every case, you know, 2,000 cases, you can imagine how that works. So you kind of have to look at both. And the easy answer to you is, yeah, I'll just sentence them all away. But we do. I mean, we, you know, and you can do a lot of stuff with stats, but we do sentence a lot of people to a lot of hard time. And, you know, some slip through the cracks, yeah. And, you know, it doesn't do us any good to be pointing fingers at anybody. You know, everybody's trying to do their job, and you as a community are doing your job. And that helps us tremendously. And it'll make the police better, it'll make the prosecutor better, make the judges better, so that we make less errors of judgment, if you will. So that's what we have to work with. So I hope, Rich, that was kind of a long-winded answer. I thought it was important. It was a fair question, and it's there's nothing worse. There's no worse feeling than when one of your guys did something, whatever it is. I mean, first time when I get a report, no matter what it is, got arrested for shoplifting, I'm yanking them. I don't want anybody getting arrested for anything on my watch. And I yank them, and we have a hearing and decide whether or not that's enough or not. So, anyway, anything else? I went long enough. So, thank you, folks. I'll be around if anybody wants to.
Right. Mariah Fulfer, she is prosecuting the case on Friday. Harvey Scott, so we're going to court over, a few of us.
Hi everybody, my name is Mariah Fulfer. I am a prosecutor for the City of St. Louis. I was here, I think maybe a month ago. I'm going to go real quick, I promise. What I'm going to start trying and doing is I've been emailing Christian and other members of the community, Jennifer, Florida, kind of a list of the cases that are currently pending in your neighborhood. And from that list, we're kind of going to whittle it down so that we can maybe start following some of the cases that you're most particularly interested in. I know all cases are important. It doesn't matter if it's an assault third or a murder first. Everything's important to a lot of people. So I gave the entire list to Christian, and it was 79 cases. There are 79 cases that are currently pending in your neighborhood, and those run from there's assaults, seconds, there's robberies, there's murders, there's possessions of firearms, there's possessions of dope, there's assault thirds, there's domestic cases. It runs the gambit. I mean, your neighborhood isn't like this is the murder neighborhood. No, it's not what it is. There's just a range of crimes that are committed in your neighborhood. And what we're going to try and focus on is finding a couple cases, because you can't follow all of them. I would love it if you could, and if you can think of a good system to do that, please call me. Call me tomorrow. But what we're going to try and do is focus on some, and then we can follow it. That way, if there's a trial, and if you'd like to come watch the trial, you can come to any courtroom. You can come and watch the trial, show your support for the victim, show your support for the neighborhood. If it's a plea, if they plead guilty, you can come to that. And some judges, like Judge Omer, they allow people from the neighborhood to speak, to tell the court, this is why we think this person should get this. This is why we think he should not be allowed in our neighborhood. This is why this crime is affecting property value, affecting our lifestyle, affecting how I live my life. I have to close my screen, my blinds every night so I can watch my TV, that kind of stuff. I think that it's important for judges to know that, and many judges are very positive, they receive that very positively. They like to hear about who it affects, because otherwise, when you do about 30 pleas a day, it becomes just business, and you get desensitized, and I think it's nice to remind the court. That being said, since I did say I would keep this brief, there is a defendant that is, I have been following very closely, and I have gotten involved with several people from this neighborhood. He is set for probation revocation on Friday, which is May 27th. It is in Division 10, which is Judge Omer's courtroom. And where that is, if you came to the last one when he was sentenced, which I'll talk about that in a minute, that was in the Carnahan courthouse. This will be in the civil courthouse, which is just across the street. It's on the corner of Market and Tucker. And you'll go up to the 10th floor. I will be there. You can find me. I'll be much taller because I'll have heels on. So I'll be much more imposing. But I will be there. He starts around 9-ish. Now, if you weren't there for the plea on this case, what happened was this defendant and his little cohort, Adrian English, they burglarized, I want to say about 5 or 8 homes, stealing cars, doing all sorts of trouble. They both pled guilty and they were both given probation. One of the conditions of both of their probations was that they not be present in this neighborhood. One of the main conditions of Mr. Cox's probation was that he not violate any more laws, and he ended up committing a crime in the neighborhood, which is like a double whammy. So what we've done is I've done a motion to revoke his bond for violations. One, laws, committed an assault in the neighborhood. 2, he was in the neighborhood. And then we're going to go appear in front of the judge. If the defendant would like a hearing, he can have a hearing. I will call, witnesses, the officers who arrested him in the neighborhood, things like that, and then the judge will decide whether or not they should extend him on probation, keep him on probation, try to reach him, or if they should send him to jail, which is what I would ask for. Which is not shocking, it's what I usually ask for. So if you would like to be present, I think that a showing from the neighborhood is always a positive thing. I think that although many people from your neighborhood spoke at the sentencing, I'm not sure if they'll be allowed to speak at the probation revocation hearing, but I think that a large showing from the neighborhood will serve as a reminder. And that's another thing that we can do. If you guys are interested, there's a group, Gravois Park, they come to they follow the probation revocations. I was talking about following cases that are pending, cases that are about to plea. They focus on probation cases. People who are on probation, who mess up, they go to those. So if that's something y'all are interested in, I'm happy to help you with anything. Christian has my email. I am happy to let you know on any pleas, any trials, anything like that. Anything I can do to help. I am your friendly neighborhood prosecutor, and I will help you in any way I can. And I can't reinforce what Judge Omer said about jury duty. I know no one likes it. I was super excited when I got called because I would love to be on that side. I mean, having to judge someone else instead of me, having them judge me, it was wonderful. But it really is a good opportunity because that's who makes the tough decisions. That's who makes the tough calls is you. And if you don't feel like doing it, then someone else might be on jury duty who's just going to let somebody off, not hold them accountable. So jury duty is very important. Yes, Mia?
Can I ask you, if this person that you're saying is not allowed in the neighborhood, how would we recognize him if we don't know him? Could his picture be outside on the thing there? No, I can't do that.
I don't know.
That is something I can ask about. I know that
That's a good question.
that is a very good question, and I will ask about that. I know that the officers generally have their pictures, so the officers that patrol the neighborhood, they are always in contact with it. I'm fairly confident that if you follow cases that you can find a picture of them on VineLink, but I will double check and I'll have that information for the next meeting, okay?
And
Will
we
you be
are
here?
going to put the photos on our neighborhood website, but if you don't have computer access, I don't know how to use one, it's really difficult. And I thought about it as we were just talking about putting a photo out there, and if one of their friends saw, they could probably smash the bulletin board.
That's true too, yeah.
Take a
I
picture.
can answer that a little
Okay.
bit. So,
Thanks, Judge.
I will. It's in the works, and hopefully it'll be done shortly. But for a while, the court, we were putting their photo on our website. Now, there's some Supreme Court rule, there's some problems with that, so we had to pull that off. The police do have it, and right now, the Circuit Attorney's Office is in the process of getting the information from us, from the courts, and put it on their website in connection with the police, so that there will be easy access for the neighborhood groups or for any individual, so that their photos will be on there for you. So I hope that's done sooner rather than later, but it's been a little bit of a glitch in getting it set up. But you'll have that, and then neighborhoods can post it or whatever. Because yes, I mean, obviously we need to hear about it, and the police stop somebody, they see it. But yeah, that should be more user friendly and give the information there. So there'll be more to come on that, but I expect that to be
Good,
done.
and I'll follow up on it too. So, and also Jennifer Joyce is, I don't know if you all tweet or Twitter, that stuff. I don't know how to do it myself, but I'm going to try and learn. Jennifer Joyce is on Twitter, so you can follow her on Twitter. She often comments about big cases that go on in our office and stuff like that. So if you are into the Twittering, I think she has quite a following. Any other questions for me? Well, I hope to see you all Friday.
Okay, next we have Stephen Seagraves from the Gravois Station Post Office. And he's going to talk about some cheaper rates to mail things.
Take that.
Well, thank you, everybody. As she said, my name's Steve Seagraves. I'm the manager of the Gravois Post Office, which serves all this district here of 63116. And I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to speak to you in this forum here, get everyone together, get a chance to match faces with who I am. If you ever have any questions, concerns, feel free to call me. But the reason I wanted to come down here and speak to you was about Every Door Direct Mail. It's a new service the post office has, and to do that, I brought my marketing liaison. She's in charge. This is Angie Bradley. She's in charge of growing business for the Gateway Post Office. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to her and let her explain this new process to you.
Good evening, everybody. And I'm in charge of like the Gateway District, which is like Champaign, Urbana, all the way southern Illinois, and then most of Missouri. So it was really exciting that I actually had this event here because I just lived down Kings Highway. So I was like, sweet. So, this new product the post office actually has is Every Door Direct Mail, and it's really geared towards our small and mid-sized businesses. We've never had this product before. Previously, if anybody's ever done like a bulk mailing, you know, to advertise your company, your business, or whatever you do, give out coupons, or even like a community newsletter, you previously had to do a apply for a permit, which is $190, and then a annual permit fee of $190, and then buy a mailing list. And so before you even sent one piece of mail out, you know, you're over $400, you know, before you've reached anybody. So they've come up with this new product called Every Door Direct Mail, and it really is taken away. You do not have to have a mailing list. You do not have to have a permit to do this type of mailing. It's really geared for that small to mid-sized business. What you would be doing is a saturation mailing of one particular carrier route. So say this, you know, what a carrier route is where that one particular carrier delivers. How many carriers do you have at your office?
Well, in the Gravois district, there's 40 different carrier routes servicing 63116.
Okay. So he has, you know, 40 carriers. So one carrier, how many deliveries roughly? I think 400 or 500?
Usually it's a little bit more than that here in the city, more closer to 600,
600, okay. So each carrier is delivering roughly 600, you know, deliveries. You would select, and actually on our website, smp.usps.gov, and I actually have handouts if you're interested. I'll give you which lists that website as well and more specifics. But you would select a particular carrier route, and actually on the website, it even pinpoints a particular address that you want to key in. So say if you were a sub shop and you delivered, you know, half a mile from your resident, you can literally key in your address and find out what carrier routes those are. Or we had a contractor, after the tornado went through, you know, North County area, he, you know, did some addresses, and he did a mailing to 2 carrier routes in about 4 different zip codes, kind of where the tornado went through, to advertise his contracting business. Or when I was explaining this to all the postmasters, it was so funny because you can just pick one carrier route. The price is only 14.2 cents per delivery. The minimum amount you would have to send out would be 200, but most carrier routes in this neighborhood are, you know, over 200 anyway. But even if it was 200, it would only be $28 to get your message out. So if you're mailing out to 1,000 people, that's only, you know, a little over $140. So when I was explaining this to all the postmasters, the one postmaster is like, so anybody can use this, any type of business, you know. So if I wanted to advertise cutting grass for the summer, I could send out a mailing, and I'm like, absolutely. And he was like, hot dog, I'm going to get my kid off the couch yet. So he was going to do it to create a little business, you know, cutting grass for the summer. And I tell you, you get 1 or 2 yards, you know, you have your mailing paid for. So never before, you know, I think this is just really exciting because never before have we really been probably that friendly to the small and mid-sized business before. It's been very confusing on even how to do a mailing. The normal mailing statement is 15 pages. It's confusing even for our postal employees. I mean, but they've really, really simplified the whole entire process. So I know it's kind of a mixed audience in here. You know, I'm not just speaking to just business customers. So I just kind of wanted to give you a brief overview of it. If you are interested, I do have some handouts, and this black and white sheet really does detail. Excuse me, I'm pregnant right now, and all of a sudden the baby's now wanting to talk. But it really details the whole process. Normally, I'm having actually 2 more classes this week, happens to be in the city. If you wanted to come, I have a class tomorrow at the library over in Weathers area, which is the Julia Davis Library on Natural Bridge. tomorrow there's a class that happens to be at 1 p.m. If you're interested, you do not have to register prior, you can just go. Or on Thursday, I have one at the headquarters branch library, and that is at 11 a.m. But the full presentation, generally lasts about an hour, and then you find out, a lot of the specifics. So if you knew any businesses that wanted more information, I have handouts here. You can, by all means, contact Steve as well, and if he doesn't know the answer, he will contact me, and I can get that information to you. But it's just a really exciting new product that we've had that is really a huge potential for a lot of businesses and an avenue for them to, really grow their business. So your local printers will be huge with you in implementing this. Steve does have the names of the printers around here.
Just in our district alone, there's 2 printers. There's CNC Quality Printing at 4636 Gravois, and then of course there's Office Max there at 4611 Chippewa. I'll be leaving that information as well as some other information. If you need to contact us about doing anything, whether it be shipping questions, anything like that, these things here give you an opportunity to put your name, address, phone number. I'll be leaving these cards over here on the table, and you fill this out, you drop it off at the post office, and you will be contacted by either me or someone from marketing who can assist you in setting up things such as Everdoor Direct Mail or Click and Ship or any of the other processes, or basically any of your mailing questions or needs can be answered that way.
Yeah, and Click and Ship, just a little brief overview of that, is where you never even, we would love to see your face coming into the post office, but you never even have to anymore, because you can do everything via your computer. You can put your mail on hold, so if you're going out of town, always really want to highly suggest you put your mail on hold just for, security and safety of your stuff. You don't want stuff obviously building up in your mailbox. That's a big, we're talking a lot about safety and security tonight, but that's a big flag, red flag, if you have stuff, in your mailbox. USPS.com, put your mail on hold. It's very easy to do. If you're heading out of town last minute, you can do it at work computer, not a problem. Or on your iPhone now, or whatever you want to do. But Click and Ship, you can actually even do, grab one of our flat rate boxes, key in where you're sending that to, pay via your credit card, and then the next step, it'll print out just, a piece of paper. Tape it on your box, and then you say, have the carrier pick it up on, and you can even put a specific spot. Go to the fence, and it's in the, on your back porch. It's, wherever you want to put it. So, and it's actually, you get a discounted rate by doing that, because it saves us time as well.
And you get free delivery confirmation.
Free delivery
confirmation. So you know when the item was delivered.
So, and then you also know when it's picked up, also, because our carrier will leave a slip saying, I received your package. So you know that we picked it up, but someone else did. So, but I will also leave any questions about this product or anything about the post office. I will leave these some of these over here as well. If you have any issues, Steve is your guy. But if you're interested in one of the classes, love to see you over at the one over in Weathers, or at the DePere Library coming up this week as well.
Okay, if there's no questions, thank you very much for the opportunity to talk to you.
Sorry about that. Ms. Moore, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Amy Moore. I live in the neighborhood of Juniata, and I'm also a dietitian with St. Louis University Department of Nutrition. So there was a grant that came up called the Healthy Living Initiative that I partnered with Missouri University Extension. And what it was is a little bit of money to do a survey for a community to see what the community needs to be able to live healthier, eat better food, and be more active. So since I have kind of a vested interest in this neighborhood, I chose this neighborhood. We have been doing the survey for about a year. We got about 82 responses. I don't know, some of you may have responded. The most survey responses we got was online. We were also up at St. Pius and St. John's and the Tower Grove Market with questions about the neighborhood. So what I come to you tonight with is just some results of the survey of what people in the community said that they liked about the community or what they would like to do to help the community improve. Because we have, right now it's about $4,000, because the goal was to, a lot of times the university will come in and be like, oh, we have this great program, here you go, and it's not what the community wanted. So instead we wanted to ask the community, hey, what do you need? And then try to use the money to do with what the community wanted. So I have a little bit under $4,000 left, but what we want to do is apply for a bigger grant to actually do something in the neighborhood. So from the results of the survey, they said that in terms of the neighborhood, the top barriers to preventing physical activity are lack of a safe place to exercise and street or location does not have enough lighting. And the top things that can be improved upon in the neighborhood include nutrition education programs, sidewalk conditions, community recreation centers, and lighting at the parks. Is that something you guys would agree with? And that was like overwhelmingly what the survey showed. So I brought some results of the survey if you guys are interested in looking at it. But the part we were most interested in was what people said that they wanted the community to do, that the community could do to make them be healthier. So I just wanted to read some of these, and I know we don't have time tonight, but just to get some maybe interest sparked, and then if you're interested, I can meet with you afterward, because from here, the university kind of wants to step back and let the community do it, but I'm still a community member. So if, you know, who do you think we should send these results to? Who, if there's one area that you're passionate about? Obviously, if the neighborhood, you don't feel safe in it, then you're not going to be out and being physically active. So I think that can all be tied in together. I know I have a 4-month-old and a 2-year-old, and it's really hard to push a stroller down the sidewalk. So there's all kinds of things, but basically better lighting, better sidewalks, more information about activities. Crosswalks for pedestrians came up a whole lot. I think it's people trying to get over to the park. Better neighborhood communication, a community recreation space, better fast food choices like Crazy Bowls and Wraps or Chipotle, continuing to improve pedestrian access to Grand Avenue and Morgan Ford, offer more neighborhood activities and events, health clinics, more lighting in Tower Grove Park, continued development of bike paths, community walks on Sunday, and then McDonald Park came up about 5 times. Updated McDonald Park playground, or doing maybe a health center at McDonald Park. The 2 most used resources, not really surprisingly, were Tower Grove Park and Botanical Gardens. So we've been exploring being able to get into Botanical Gardens from Tower Grove Park. There's that gate, but you have to walk all the way around. So really the options at this point are endless, and we can apply for grants to try to make, you know, be it a new community center or whatever. So if you are interested, I'd love to talk to you, or if you know of the person we need on this to get it moving forward. I'm committed to writing the grant, but I want it to be something the whole community would like. Or if you have ideas of more people to get input from, we're trying to close the survey period, but we didn't get that much diversity as I was hoping to. So I know time is dwindling, but I do have leftover surveys, and if you want to take a look at the results of the survey, I have those, and if you want to talk to me, I'd be happy to get your name and contact information.
Amy, do you have that online? Can you post a link to it to the Yahoo group?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, why don't you do that?
Yes. Great suggestion. So I can post, yeah, that's from Survey Monkey.
She could just give an update from the Mobile Patrol.
Hello, everyone. My name
Hello,
is Carl
David.
Tenhouse. I live in the 4100 block of Utah, and I am proud to say that for the first time in 30 years, Tower Grove South will have a mobile patrol.
Citizen patrol.
Yes, Citizens Patrol. And I think that's something we all should be very proud of. It's our patrol. It belongs to everyone. We have 50 volunteers, 50 give or take. Last Monday night, we had 35 people come to the South Patrol Police Station and take training. Everyone must have training before we go on the patrol. And get this, everyone must have a background check. So we send the names to the police departments with the pertinent information. They check everybody out. In a neighborhood this size, it's imperative that we do that. And that coupled with the victim statements, visits to court, our new IT program, which Dave is going to talk about, and Dustin. So it's going to be good. And I think these pictures might be on this new program that we're getting. We just spoke with the people from Lafayette Square at 6 o'clock. We got an overview of what they're doing. We're going to visit their police station. This neighborhood will have a police station with computer and a link to all the other ones, and it might be in this building, might be upstairs. So we are going to have a substation, and when this thing gets off the ground, we will be assigned an officer. Not just the neighborhood, just the Officer Calabro. He does the whole 3rd district, but we will have an officer assigned to this area, Tower Grove South, and he will help us and maybe another neighborhood to patrol. The one in Lafayette Square rides around on a scooter. Okay, so he's got a special blue shirt. Everybody knows who he is. He's going to ride around with the patrol sometimes and give us a hand and help us. I remember the old patrol that they had about 30 years ago. Lauman and Larry Brendel. They'd ride around with their CBs and walkie-talkies, and they might even have a weapon with them. Who knew, you know? And there's always a few cans of beer in the car too, which is illegal. Yeah, so they're more afraid of the patrol than they were the actual perpetrators. So yeah, we're excited about this, and we're going to go on. Yes, ma'am.
What's the timeline for the police substation?
We're still working through this. I don't know. I really don't know. I can't give you a definite answer, but it will happen. In order to have a patrol, we need a police station, a substation here.
Okay, and then the other question is how do people get involved in the Citizen Patrol to get the training?
Okay, go online. You know the website here for the listserv. Get with Christian and she will tell you how to get on the listserv. And then contact the listserv, and David or I will take your names and we will contact you. Leave your phone number, leave your email address, and away we go. But we will have another training. Whether we will be training you or Officer Calabro, that will remain to be seen. But you have to be trained. So please, if you're interested, it's a go. We're going to do this. And now here's Dave. Dave Varga. He's our IT guy. So he's going to talk to you a little bit.
Not only the IT guy, Dustin would be the
Dustin,
IT guy.
keep forgetting poor Dustin.
I was just looking through the list of everything. It seems you covered everything. So nicely done. I think the next step, I think my question, I think a lot of people's question is, what is the next step? We've got our volunteers, we've got a whole bunch trained. The next step is actually, Dustin's going to be calling the people we just met tonight. Christian, Carl, Jesse, Jennifer, Dustin, Brian. We just met tonight with the people from Lafayette, and they've got a really nice system going. So we're going to probably be adopting a model similar to theirs. Without getting into the details of it, it's going to be really user-friendly. It's going to be something that we can, maybe, once Dustin and I get together and talk about how it's going to actually work, it's just a matter of, showing it to everybody. It's going to be a link that'll go from the Tower Grove website to this other software. It's really easy to use, and we're just going to go ahead and start working on it. I think, what do you think, Dustin, timeline-wise?
Once we see how their site works specifically, we could probably get a better idea, but I would think it's a matter of weeks, not months.
Yeah, it's something that's already in use, so we're just probably going to copy them, and with that, and probably Jennifer Florida are all in, say a bit more about it, but with that, you know, using that template, there's a guy, what's his name, Mike, what was it?
Pettit?
Michael Pettit of Lafayette Square Safety and Security Committee actually met with us to talk about the model, and he's been working with Chief Isom actually to expand this model citywide. I think what they're hoping is a consistent, uniform approach to safety and security in the neighborhood, and then potential to link, because no neighborhood is an island. A criminal is not going to recognize the boundaries between Tower Grove South and Dutchtown, 1st District and 3rd. And so we're trying to find a way to create a way for us to all communicate. And so with this software, we're hoping we can have a neighborhood link.
And with the shared model across the board,
Right.
we're going to get a lot more support
From Chief
from
Isom.
everybody, really. So, not having to reinvent the wheel every time. Okay.
And it's not only a mobile patrol. You can walk your dog, you can ride a bicycle. With the price of gasoline nowadays, hey, whatever gets it done. You know, get out there, get your face known, get to know some more neighbors, talk to people. Stop in the stores along Morganford and Graham, maybe. You know, and say, hey, we're the patrol. You know, we're here for you. Tell your people to keep their purses under the table. Sit on your purses. You know, stuff like that. Just folksy type stuff. So.
And this is in the infant stage, but we're also talking about surveillance, getting surveillance cameras or something to that effect. So we're probably going to be working on that too. That's going to be a little further down the road after the Border Patrol gets going, or the citizens.
Okay, feel free to join in. Yes.
Okay, is that going to be around the clock or just
No.
certain hours?
We're going to ask people to volunteer for maybe 4 hours a week, 2-hour nights, probably in the evenings from 6 to 8 or 8 to 10. I am going to patrol, since I'm retired, during the day. There is a need during the day. That's when a lot of these houses are getting broken into.
Right.
So there's a small group of us who will be patrolling during the day, but it will not be 24/7. We don't have the manpower for that. We are not the police force. We are not interactive. We will not interact with these thugs. We will call the police. We don't have the training to do that, you know. So we would just get hurt, you know, and they would run away. So we're going to call the police.
Maybe down the road it'll become something closer to 24/7, but that's where all of you become extremely important, not just as the volunteers for the mobile patrol, but for spreading the word. Right now we're going through the listserv, and that's the best way to contact us for that. So if you're not part of the listserv, or you have family, friends, neighbors that are not part of it that live in this area, please make sure and get them involved in that, because that's the way we're going to move forward on that.
And it's going on the website.
Correct.
Yes.
Everything will be on the website.
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay, like the citywide patrol that we have, it just goes to a certain area?
It will be just in Tower Grove South.
Oh, it's, okay.
Our
What
patrol.
about, okay, across Gustine? Do they have their own security?
No. They do have a security force, but it's a taxing district where they have a rent-a-cop right through their neighborhood.
That's
And it's
good.
just out there, and we won't interfere with them, and we might
Yeah,
ride
they
through
just want to
there.
know
They
anything
will,
to do with the city.
yeah, we'll get in
right?
contact with them. They'll know where we are.
Oh, okay. So
Okay.
we're going this way, more or less, this way.
Tower Grove South, all over.
Okay.
You said 4 hours a week, it's 4 hours.
A month. Did I say a week?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. A month. We figure, hey, start off slow. You know, volunteer once a month, maybe two evenings a month. That's all. We're not asking you to do it every night or every week. You know, just get your feet wet a little bit, see what it's all about. You know, we don't want to burn out too quick, because you do this stuff, you know, real fast, you get all excited and you burn out, you know. So, and it's for the quality betterment of the neighborhood. We're not going to catch a lot of crime here, but we're going to see where lights are out, where a fence might be needed. They installed a fence over there in Lafayette Square down 18th Street, and that stopped crime tremendously. I mean, from Shoto all the way up to Park, or Lafayette. And just little things like that, so I'll let you go.